Hello and welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Show. I am your host, Jay Jones. Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the Black community by promoting business ownership. If you are currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, we invite you to join us every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint.
Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 389. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative show in store for you. Today's show topic is decoding and understanding the three phases every business goes through. Decoding and understanding the three phases every business goes through. If you're lucky and an astute business owner, your business will eventually go through three phases of maturation. And today we're going to discuss those three phases and identify the key components of each phase that are needed to build a profitable business. So we're going to look at the three phases of business, and we're going to also look at the key components that you have to have in place to be successful and sustainable. But before we get to today's episode, I just want to share a few things with the BEB family. First and foremost, I hope you had a happy holiday season. This is actually the last show of 2021. So we'll be moving into 2022 next episode. And we have a lot of new things coming in 2022. Also, first and foremost, check out, I did a soft launch on my website. So go to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. The new website is up. It's a soft launch. We're going to talk about it in one of the next two episodes about the total rebrand. Okay, so we're going to have all types of stuff, but go to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, or if you want to take the shortcut, go to bebconnect.com. It's going to take you to the same place. So when you jump on the website, you're going to see several tabs up front, or if you're on the mobile edition, on the side. But it's about, learn, podcast, resources, book J, financing, and shop. Now, if you want to learn something, you click the learn tab and the drop down comes out, and you'll have subjects such as blog, which will be the latest blog post. You'll have a marketing tab, e-commerce, scaling your business, courses, strategy and mindset, real estate, business ideas and side hustles, and building wealth. And when you click on one of those links, it's going to take you to a page, and it's going to have everything about, say it's e-commerce. It'll have podcast episodes about e-commerce, courses about e-commerce, resources about e-commerce, and also blog posts about e-commerce. So whatever you click on, it's going to give you totally all the resources on one page. And so it's also going to ask you at the bottom of the page, are you a business owner? And if you say yes, then it's going to ask you something to the effect of, what do you need help with the most? Then it'll give you these options. You click the option, it'll take you directly to that space on the website so you can get the resources. So once again, guys, 2022 is coming, and we want blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com to be the resource for Black entrepreneurs worldwide. Also in 2022, we're going to have a lot of new stuff coming up on the show. So number one, we're going to have more guests on the show. We're going to start doing an IG live segment once a week. We're going to have more resources to help you grow your business. And we're really just going to continue to build out the platform, the whole ecosystem, the podcast, the blog, everything about the website to really help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. That's what it's all about. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Also, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. Please stick around until the end of today's broadcast, and I'm going to share all my social media contact information and my resource links, such as the link to my new book, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses, BeSmartByBlack.com, and HireBlackFreelancers.com. and also bebacademy.com, which has all of my online courses and programs behind it. But once again, with the new website, just go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com and hit the Learn tab, and everything I just talked about will be there. Now, let's dive into today's show content, decoding and understanding the 3 phases every business goes through. So as I mentioned at top, guys, there are 3 phases that every business goes through if you're successful enough to get to all 3 phases. And these are the phases: launch phase, build phase, and grow phase. So Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, you see the moniker launch, build, and grow. And the reason I did that is specifically because they're the 3 phases of business. So the launch phase could be looked at as the startup phase. The build phase is the systemization phase where you solidify your business. And the growth stage is scaling. So startup, systematize, and scale. Launch, build, and grow. Those are the 3 phases. So today we're going to go through these 3 phases and also the components that you need to have in place to be successful and create a sustainable business. You don't want to be in business for 6 months and you're gone. Okay. You want to have a sustainable business. Also, if you're watching or listening to this and you're not able to write notes, go to the website, blackentrepreneurblueprint.com or bebconnect.com. On the bottom of every page, it'll say sign up for the newsletter. Be a part of the BEB family. That newsletter goes out twice a week, every Monday at 9 a.m., every Thursday at 9 a.m. And on that newsletter, you will have all the show notes for the latest episode. So if you can't write this stuff down, and today is pretty detailed, if you can't write it down, go to the website, sign up for the newsletter, and you'll have all of this written down for you in the show notes. Okay. So once again, launch phase, build phase, grow phase. We're going to start off with the launch phase once again, which can also be called the startup phase. The launch phase can last anywhere from several months to up to a year. And during this phase, you're going to be doing the following things. So this is almost like a checklist. So first thing you want to create is a business ideation. What is your idea? And you want to create that. And normally most people start out with a business plan. So you have to ask yourself, what type of business do I want to start? What are my products and services? Who do you want to serve? Then you have to look at sales and revenue projections and a marketing plan. So business ideation, this is under the launch phase. And that's basic thinking about it. So it doesn't have to be a 300-page business plan, guys. Okay, you can start out with a framework. And I've seen 300-page business plans that are really garbage, to be quite honest with you. Because once again, you have to understand this is a fluid situation. So whatever you put on paper is just a starting point. As you continue to move forward and get into your business, everything that you wrote down is going to change. I promise you that. Because you don't know until you know, until you get in there and start mixing around. So first thing you're going to have is business ideation. That's the number 1 component of the launch phase. Number 2 component is business formation. What type of business are you going to be? Are you going to be a sole proprietor? Are you going to be a partnership, an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, whatever? You have to determine what type of entity or what formation of business are you going to be. Now, I always recommend to at least have an LLC. When you're a sole proprietor, that means you're liable for anything that happens personally. So if you're doing some type of service or something or selling a product, something goes wrong, somebody sues you. Now they're suing you, the person. They're not suing the LLC. And that could put your house at risk, your cars, your assets, everything at risk. So I definitely would talk about an LLC formation. Okay. Now, in addition to business formation, based on the type of business that you have, you want to look at your permits and licenses. What types of permits and licenses do you need in order to run the business? So during this launch phase, you're getting all your ducks in a row. And I recommend setting it up correctly from the door. You know, sometimes we half-ass it and I'll do this later. Set it up right from the beginning, because your foundation is what's going to build your business. Okay, so having everything in order. Okay, so the next component of the launch you want to look at are your tools and software. First thing though, you need a domain name. So I want to stress this to you. Your domain name is very important. Okay. So if you can have a domain name that means something, doesn't have to, but if it means something. So when you go to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, you pretty much know this is for black entrepreneurs and you're getting the blueprint. Okay. So look at your domain name. And even if you're not sure, I just had this conversation with a brother yesterday. Even if you're not sure what your business is going to be, every time you think of a domain name that makes sense, go ahead and buy it. That's internet real estate. Go ahead and buy it. I own over 270 something domains right now. I may probably never use half of them, but guess what? If I need to, I have it there. So if I think of a book title, I get the domain. If I think of a product or a brand, I go get the domain. So in terms of tools and software, it's not really a tool, but get the domain name. Okay. All right. Or names if you have multiple choices. Next, you're going to need a website. So depending upon what type of business that you have, if you're an e-commerce business, you may want to look at Shopify because that's an e-commerce website platform designed specifically to sell products. Okay, if it's going to be more of a blog type, you may look at WordPress. And I use WordPress and Shopify. There are other options out there, but those are the two I use. WordPress for general sites and Shopify for e-commerce sites. All right, you also want to have a company email. All right, now I want to tell y'all, when you go get a domain name, get your email, get your email with it too. Don't be blackentrepreneurBlueprint@gmail.com. Don't do that. That's not professional. Go get a professional email. So jjones@blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. All right. None of that @gmail.com stuff. All right. It just looks better. And as you continue to grow as a company, you're going to want to have that perception that you're a real business. Okay. So you also need an email autoresponder. An email autoresponder. So I use ConvertKit. So if you want to set up email automation, and we're going to get into that in the next phase. So if you want to set up email automation, responding to people, setting up campaigns to drive traffic to specific places or to sell products or services. And you also need a database software, which ConvertKit is an email autoresponder and a database software. And I'm telling you this because these are the things that I use, so I have experience with them. So what we're talking about today, guys, is decoding and understanding the 3 phases every business goes through. And we're in the launch phase. And I talked about business ideation. That's one component. Business formation, another component. The tools and software I just went through. The next thing you have to look into in your launch phase is your capitalization. How will you capitalize your business? And unfortunately, many times for us, this is an area of concern where we may not be capitalized, but statistics show that we are not capitalized like other ethnicities who start businesses. So one of the things on my new website, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, I have a financing tab. Make sure you go there if you want to learn about financing and apply for financing. So there are all types of business loans there. Okay. Also, I have a crowdfunding component too that we're going to be launching shortly. So capitalization, how you're going to capitalize your business. So I tell people this all the time, guys. If you have a job and you're looking to transition from employee to entrepreneur, use your job to capitalize your business. So I'll use a real life example. So when I started my ADT alarm dealership many moons ago, I wrote down everything that I needed to open my office. I needed desks, I needed computers, I needed phones, I needed software, I needed an office. And so when I left my job, over 6 months, I have been building up all of these assets, and I've been buying desks, I've been buying phones, I've been buying computers. And so in my basement, I pretty much had an office set up. And what I was doing is I was using my money from my job to slowly build up what I needed. So when I went and I rented my office, I had everything that I needed. I think I came in on a Thursday, and by Monday, I was ready to rock and roll and start hiring people because I had everything I needed. So capitalization, how are you going to capitalize your business? The next component is location. Okay. Where will you conduct business? Are you going to do it from home? Are you going to do it remotely? Or are you going to need an office? So these are the things you have to think about in the launch phase. Product or service creation. Now, this may, include a physical products inventory or digital product creation or selling a service. So depending upon what you're selling, your product or service creation, what are you going to be selling to transact business, to make money? Next, proof of concept. All right. I want the light bulb to go off. Ding, 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 ding. Proof of concept. Will people purchase your goods and services, and you want to test and get feedback before you go hog wild to determine proof of concept? So you're going to say, hey, Jay, how the heck do I do that? So it's very simple. So if you're selling a product, put up a website, a landing page, offer your product or a lead magnet, and we're not going to get into all the technicals right now. See if people will buy it or respond to it. Okay, if you're selling a service, the same thing. See if you can sell your service. And guess what? If you're not ready to actually fulfill that product or service, then just say, hey, it'll be done at a later time. Perfect example. And if you listen to the show for any period of time, you've heard this example. I was selling a supplement. It was a nootropic, right? What I did is I went to the manufacturer, and this was online now. So I wasn't didn't have an office or anything. So I went to the manufacturer. I got samples. I tried it out. I liked it. The other people I gave it to liked it. So I said, all right, what's the pricing? I think it was $4 a bottle. All right. And the minimum order was 100 bottles. So I had a couple of sample bottles. And what I did, as opposed to buying 100 bottles, even though it wasn't a lot of money, I said, let me test it first. Let me go create a landing page, create an offer, drive traffic to the landing page, and see if people will buy the product. So I didn't even have a real photo of the product. I had somebody create a bottle along with the label. Now, I did have the label. And so I asked the manufacturer, how long will it take if I order 100 units with my label on it? And they said, it'll take about 6 to 7 days. I'm like, cool. So now I don't even physically have the product, but yet I'm testing to see if this thing works. So I said to myself, if I sell 25 units and I was selling them free shipping, free first month free. The only thing you had to pay was the shipping, which was $4.95. So I was losing money up front, but you would get auto billed $29.95 in 30 days if you didn't cancel the subscription. And I said, okay. So if I get 25 people to go for this, now not all 25 are going to continue the subscription, but most times people are, at least for the first one, because they're going to forget about it. I said, okay, then I'll buy the 100 units. I ended up in the first week getting like 35 or 37 people that actually paid for the shipping and were signed up for the auto subscription or the auto ship. So what I did then is I said, all right, let me order the 100 units. I bought the 100 units in, and I let them know, hey, it's going to be about 7 to 10 days before you get your initial bottle. Now, if I didn't get 25 people to bite or buy that, then I would have just refunded the money. So that's how you get proof of concept. And the true proof of concept, guys, is people going into their pocket and spending their hard-earned money. You can do all types of sessions and breakout groups, focus groups, and all that. They help. But true proof of concept is somebody going in a hip pocket national, getting their money out, and paying for your product or service. Okay, so those are parts of the launch phase. And last and definitely not least, while you're in the launch phase, guys, I say this ad nauseum, build your platform. Your platform is a way to connect and communicate with your market. So it could be a podcast, it could be a blog, it could be a newsletter, it could be a YouTube channel, it could be whatever you want. But while you're in the initial launch phase, start building your platform. So say you're going to sell vegan cookies. That's your business. You're going to start selling vegan cookies and vegan products. You can create a vegan newsletter. All right. So now you're connecting with people. You're giving them news about, living the vegan lifestyle. You can create a vegan podcast while you're preparing your products or services. So now when your product or services are ready to launch, When you're ready to start selling, you have people to sell them to. So people always do this backwards, guys. Build your platform first or while you're doing your launch phase, in the ideation phase. Because what happens is most people are so focused on creating and launching their business. Once they have everything ready to go, then they start scratching their head and say, who the heck am I going to sell to? So while you're getting everything in order, create and build a platform. It could be a blog. Once again, it could be a newsletter, digital newsletter. It could be a YouTube channel. It could be a podcast. Any way to create a platform where you can communicate with your market, your target market. The easiest and most anonymous way to build a platform, I'm telling you guys, is a newsletter or a blog. Newsletter preferably. A free newsletter that goes out at least once a week that has content pertinent to whatever subject that your business is in. Once again, a vegan newsletter. How to live the vegan lifestyle. You have articles, videos, and stuff you'll curate to send out on a weekly basis. And oh, guess what? When your cookies come out, guess what's going to be in the newsletter? An ad for your cookies, an article for your cookies with a link to buy. So that's what building a platform is. And what we're talking about today, guys, is decoding and understanding the 3 phases every business goes through. So you're going with phase number 1, which is the launch phase, the startup phase. That's the easiest phase. It's the think portion. Remember, I always talk about think, create, and execute. The thinking is the easiest thing. And that's what the launch phase is. So really, you're putting your ideas on paper and you're preparing to go into business. Now, let's move to phase number 2, which is the build phase. So the build phase of your business is the systemization of your business. All right, this is the foundation of any business. Now, you can build your foundation on rock or you can build your foundation on sand. So not building systems pretty much is building a foundation on sand, which is not going to stand up. If your systems and processes are not sound, trust me, your business is doomed to fail eventually. The build phase will probably last several years because you're not going to be able to build everything in one fell swoop. And once again, that's a fluid situation. Okay. So when we talk about systemization, a lot of times people get real, not scared, but there's trepidation. Like, man, how the heck am I going to build these systems? So let me just go over the systems that you're going to need in this build phase. There are a ton of systems. Everybody talks about, oh, you need to document everything. And yes, you'll be able to get around to systemizing everything. We don't care about how you open the box of product and all of that stuff right now. You can do that later on. The 2 biggest systems you need to create, actually the 3 biggest systems you need to create. Number 1 is a lead generation system, sales system, and a fulfillment system. Okay. Those are the first 3 that you need to create, and they're more than that. But let's start off with a lead generation system. Now, lead generation is an automated lead generation system and process. It's responsible exclusively for generating qualified leads, not just leads, qualified leads. So the first system you need to create is a lead generation system. I say this all the time: no leads, no sales, no business. So if you don't have consistent leads coming in, automated leads coming in, you're going out of business. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. We're not going to get too deep because this is more of an overview. So you need a lead generation system, and a lead generation system could be something as simple as Facebook or paid traffic going to a landing page with a lead magnet, which is content that your target market has some interest in. Okay, so once again, if you're trying to start a podcast, right, and you're selling a podcast course, your lead magnet could be the big 3 biggest mistakes potential podcasters make and how not to make them. It could be a PDF. So you run traffic to people who want to be a podcaster. They go to your landing page, they put their name and email address in, and then they get the free PDF that lists the 3 things that they need not to do, okay, to stay away from. 3 biggest mistakes. Now you have somebody that raised their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in this content. Now you start your system, your lead generation system. There's a lead. Now you need to cultivate that lead. Okay. So the first thing you need in terms of building your business and creating your systemization is a lead generation system. I said this on, I think, 3 podcasts ago. The number one thing I look at every morning is not my bank account. The number one thing I look at is how many people have I added to my database? How many leads have I added to my database today? And I have multiple businesses and multiple databases, because the more people, qualified leads I have in the database, I know the more money I'm going to make. It's a function of the numbers. Okay. So I always say that the difference between these gurus doing $1 million product launch and somebody else doing $100 product launch is not necessarily the product or the person. It's the database. So if you have 1 million people in your database and somebody else has 100 people in your database and you both have a 5% conversion rate, that person's going to have 5 people that responded to the offer, where you're going to have 50,000 people that purchased the offer. Okay. So that's the difference, your database. Okay. So you need a lead generation system. Number 1, that is the first system you need to work on. System number 2 is a sales system. And this is the system that's used to manage and convert and cultivate your leads into sales. So you have a lead generation system, then you have a sales system, and it's used to manage, convert, and cultivate your leads into sales. Your sales system could be sales representatives. Okay, so you may have live people taking those leads and turning those leads into sales. Or you may have an automated sales system. So say you get the leads, people download the PDF we talked about, then you send them to a webinar. Okay, and then after the webinar, you got a series of emails trying to sell a product or service. So now you have the lead magnet and the lead generation system. Now you have that lead, that person that completed that opt-in form. Now, after they completed the form, you send them to a webinar. And on the webinar, you try to sell them something. So the sales system can be automated or it can be live people, whatever makes sense for your business. So if you're in the insurance business, somebody fills out a form for a quote, your sales system is somebody calling them back and trying to find out more information and then trying to sell a policy. So the first system, and we're in the build phase now, the second phase, lead generation system, then the sales system. The third system, fulfillment system, systems used to fulfill your sales, be it a product and or a service. So if I order a physical product from Amazon and it doesn't get there, guess what? Get to my house. Guess what? I'm upset, right? So you need to be able to fulfill your sales. If you're selling an online course, a digital product, somebody buys the product, you need to be able to fulfill that. Okay, I just bought it. Now, how are you going to fulfill it? It's pretty simple for a digital product. Physical products also, or services. So make sure you have a fulfillment system. What's the system after somebody buys? How do they get that product or service that you just sold them? Physical products, you got to make sure you can have a fulfillment center, or you're doing it yourself. You send out that physical product. Digital products mostly is going to be downloads or software or something like that. And the service, you need to make sure if you're a consultant or a coach or something like that, you need to make sure that you fulfill that. There's a process for that. If I'm a coach, then I'm going to have the person fill out an intake form. Okay. Then we're going to schedule something, and then I'm going to provide the fulfillment to whatever they purchase, that coaching session. So what we're talking about overall today, guys, is decoding and understanding the 3 phases every business goes through. We already went through phase 1, which is the launch phase or the startup phase. Right now we're in phase 2, which is the build stage or the systemization stage. First system is lead generation system. We went through that. Sales system is number 2. Fulfillment system. We just went through that. The next one, number 4, marketing system. It's a system that helps promote and market your business via paid media, earned media, or owned media. So your marketing system. So you need a way to continuously market your products, your services, and your brand. Okay. So I talked about the different types of media before, but let's go through those real quick. With any business, the objective is to get eyeballs on your business, right? So you only have 3 types of media. So the first one we're going to talk about real quick is paid media. That's pretty simple, right? So that's when you're paying somebody or a platform to advertise your product. It could be Facebook advertising. You could be advertising on the radio, on podcasts, or whatever. So that's paid media. Okay. And we're talking about your marketing system. The next one is earned media. So if somebody does a story about you in an online publication, if somebody invites you on a podcast, if somebody shares one of your tweets or your blog posts, that's earned media, meaning that you earn that. And the last is owned media, which is the best media because you control that. And what owned media is when you have a platform and when you have a database and you own those people in the database, then you can send out and connect with that audience at any time. It could be via email. It could be via podcast. It could be via whatever, video. But that's owned media. And with your marketing system, what that is it helps you promote and market your business via paid media, earned media, or owned media. And the cheapest type and most controllable form of media is owned media. That's why I talk about building your database. All right. Now, the next system you need is an operations system. And that's used to outline your standard operating procedures and processes. Okay. So this is how this process works. When we get a new lead in, the lead goes here, then it goes here, then it goes here, ba-bop, ba-bop, ba-bop. Okay, so you create an operating system. And the other type of system you need to create is a customer service / retention system. And this system is used to connect with your customers and to resolve issues and get feedback. Most times we don't even think about a customer service or retention system. But in reality, that systemization itself can make you and save you a ton of money. So you have a disgruntled customer. How many times have you stopped doing business with a business because you didn't like the way they responded to an issue or problem you had? Right? So if you're able to get in front of it, hey, we made a mistake. We're working on it. I'll take care of it or we'll take care of it for you. I appreciate your time. You also get feedback. And that feedback is going to let you know what you need to do to get better. Okay? So those are the systems that you need to create when you're in that build phase or that systemization phase. Remember, the first 3 systems you need to create are your lead generation system, your sales system, and your fulfillment system. Next, you have your marketing, operations, and customer service retention systems. But the lead generation, sales system, and fulfillment systems, those are the 3 you need to start with. I don't care what anybody else says. Without those 3 systems, you don't have a business. Now, the third and final phase is the growth phase or the scaling phase. Now, if you get to this point, then you're in rarefied air, I should say. Okay. So let's go and talk about the difference between growth and actually scaling. So in general, we think of growth basically in linear terms. So a company adds new resources. It could be capital, people, or technology, and its revenue increases as a result. By contrast, scaling is when revenue increases without a substantial increase in resources. Okay? Revenue increases without a substantial increase in resources. That's the difference between scaling and growth. Okay? So you gotta understand that. So in growth mode, then you can pour a whole lot of resources. We added $1 million in resources and we grew $1 million. That's great. You grew, but you didn't scale. Scale is using or increasing revenue without substantial increase in resources. So we need to understand that. So in order to scale, there's several things that you have to do. And I'm not going to go deep because this is basically an online course by itself. The first thing you want to do is you need to take a real assessment of your business and yourself. What are your current metrics in terms of your sales, cost of goods, return on investment, gross profit, net profit, cash flow, P&L. All right. So take an assessment of your business and yourself. What type of job are you doing running your business? Is it good, bad, or whatever? What are you good at? What are you bad at? And what do you need help with? And who do you need to hire or contract to help you? Once again, guys, these are a lot of questions. And if you're not able to take notes, please go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. On the bottom of every page, it'll be join the BEB family. And that's the newsletter. And the show notes will be in the newsletter. Okay. So you want to find out what type of founder are you? So assess your business and yourself. And there's several types of founders that you need to identify which one you are. So there's the inventor, the driver, the builder, and the guide. These are the type of founders or business owners they are. So the inventor creates and builds, right? So they're the idea machine, right? New product ideas, visionary, you're a creator. So that's the inventor type of owner. The next is the driver who likes to launch and grow. So you're a source of action and acceleration. You get things done, sometimes has trouble letting go of control. So that's a driver type personality or business owner. A builder, create and scale. A builder is a leader of leaders. You add value by architecting and monitoring operating systems and standards. So are you a builder type of owner? And the last is a guide who you nurture and scale. So the keeper and sustainer of the vision and culture of the company. So what type of founder are you? And you need to be able to transition as your business grows. So the first type of founder, once again, is the inventor. You create and build. All these ideas, product ideas, you're a visionary, you're a creator. Then you need to morph or transfer into the driver, the launch and grow. You're a source of action and acceleration. You get things done. Sometimes you have trouble letting go of control. Then you're going to transition into the builder, where you're trying to create scalability. The builder is the leader of leaders. You add value by architecting and monitoring operations, systems, and standards. Then you need to transfer into the guide, where you nurture and scale. You're the keeper and sustainer of the vision and the culture of the company. The problem is, guys, most people are not going to be able to go and transition to all four types of owners that you need or founders that you need. So you're going to need to eventually bring in people. So you may be a builder, right? So you're a leader of leaders, but you're not a creator. You don't have any ideas. You're not a visionary. So you have to understand what type of personality or what type of founder are you in order to be able to move through all of these three phases, of the three phases of launching, building, and growing. Okay. So as a founder, you got to identify, take a real assessment of your business and yourself. The next thing in the growth phase you have to do is scale yourself. So you want to transition out of the day-to-day of your business and work on your business. And a lot of times when we start out, be it as solo entrepreneurs or small businesses, we're doing everything. We're the chief cook and bottle washer. And so we need to first scale ourselves. So number one, determine the work that you love and the work that you hate. So this is scaling yourself out. Number two, delegate the work that you hate to a team member or contract worker. And then you create task sheets that outline the next steps. And so I talked about before, I've created critical tasks, primary tasks, and secondary tasks. And we're not going to really get into those today, but critical tasks are things that have to be done before we move forward. Primary tasks are important, but it doesn't necessarily stop us from moving forward. And then secondary tasks are tasks that can be done at a later date. So we're talking about phase 3 right now, which is the growth phase. So the first thing you need to do, number one, take a real assessment of your business and yourself. What type of founder are you? We just went through the 4 founder types. Next, scale yourself. So you want to transition out of the day-to-day. The next thing you want to do is build a scalable operating system. So an operating system is your business processes and procedures that support your desired outputs of the business. I'll repeat that. An operating system is your business's processes and procedures that support your desired outputs of the business. The old way is you being the operating system. Okay. You're doing everything. The new way is creating a real system that works without you. So build a scalable operating system. So step one in this is document your process for acquiring new customers from scratch. That's a growth engine. So that's your lead generation system. Step two, document your processes for fulfilling your product or service after the sale is made. So that's your fulfillment system. You already have that. Okay. And step three, what are your desired output, your company goals and objectives in metric form so you can track your progress? So what are our sales goals or objectives? What are our new client goals or objectives? So you have to figure out what are your desired outputs. Okay. Now, part number 4 of your growth phase is create an exitable business. This is powerful right here, guys. Create an exitable business. You want to create a business that people will want to buy, that has systems and structure in place and it runs without you. Okay, so an exitable business has several characteristics. And let's go through some characteristics of an exitable business. And why this is important to you guys is if you know that you want to eventually exit or you want to give yourself an opportunity to exit, these are some of the things that you need to think about in the launch phase. So a lot of times you want to work from back to front, but we're talking about right now creating an exitable business. So some of the characteristics that you're going to look at in an exitable business are, number one, having evergreen products. And that means it's a product that's always in demand as a result of the basic need it serves for your customers. So for example, bathing soap, toothpaste, body soap are perfect examples of evergreen products. So every niche has a set of evergreen products, which means consistent sales all year round. Okay, so if you are a business coach and you can create an evergreen product that could be an online course in teaching people how to set up their business. Okay, you help people set up their corporation. So you can create a course which is an evergreen product, meaning that somebody is always going to want to learn that information. And we're talking about creating an exitable business. Another characteristic of an exitable business is a subscription sales model. At least one of your products or services needs to be a subscription-based model to ensure consistent and predictable revenues. So with Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, it's the BEB Academy. It's $29 a month to have access to all of the online courses, resources, master classes, and everything behind the academy. Okay. So you want a subscription model type based revenue source. A next characteristic is leverage sales, meaning to be able to create greater sales using less resources. Leverage sales. So for example, if you have a database of 35,000 people and you have a sale, you know how Amazon has its Prime sale? That's a leverage sale. Okay, Prime Day. So Amazon has all these customers. All they do is send out a couple of emails. Hey, Amazon Prime Day is coming up. And guess what happens? All right. They're able to create greater sales using a single email. And you can do that too and create your own Prime Days. You build up your database from your platform. Now you're able to do that. So you can literally turn on a faucet anytime you want. Hey, I'm selling my course today for 35% off. Let me send out an email to all my 30,000 people in my database. Guess what? That's a leverage sale. Another characteristic is bankable profits. And we're talking about characteristics of an exitable business, something that you can exit out of. Bankable profits, meaning a business that has actual net profits that you have in your bank accounts. All right. Not just revenues, but profits, profitability, money that's left over. And also transferable value. So your business can be easily transferred to another, making it more valuable. So if you have your books in order, if you have your corporation documentation in order, if you have everything in order, it's easier to transfer your business. So what we talked about today, guys, are decoding and understanding the 3 phases every business goes through. Now, before we go to the last quarter of the show, guys, let me share my contact information and my resource links. I mentioned at the top of the show, guys, my new book is out, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. You can buy the print version for $14.95, digital version $9.95. Now, normally I would tell you to go to anewblackwallstreet.com, pick yourself up a copy. You can still do that, but the easiest thing to do is go to the website, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, and hit books, and the book will be there and the link to buy. So go right now to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. Everything I'm telling you is on the website. I also mentioned my 2 platforms that I've created to help circulate dollars in the worldwide black community. The first one is BeSmartByBlack.com, and the second one is HireBlackFreelancers.com. BeSmartByBlack.com. If you are a black product producer and you want to connect and sell your products to black consumers worldwide, upload your product information to BeSmartByBlack.com. It is free, and you can connect with black consumers worldwide. You can also find that on the website, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, or go to BeSmartByBlack.com. Now, if you're a freelancer, I didn't forget about you guys either. So if you do anything on Fiverr.com or Freelancer.com, go to HireBlackFreelancers.com, upload your information, and now you can connect with black consumers and black business owners that want to hire black freelancers. You can also go to the website, BlackEntrepreneurBlueprint.com. You can hit resources, and then you can hit get exposure. And on that page, you'll see Hire Black Freelancers and BeSmartByBlack.com, and you can also advertise on that page if you want to. I also mentioned at the top of the show, BEB Academy, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Academy. I have a ton of online courses and training inside the academy to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. It doesn't matter if you're a prospective entrepreneur or an existing entrepreneur. We have content in terms of setting up your business, financing, marketing, e-commerce. Everything you need to elevate your entrepreneur IQ is in the academy. So you can go to bebacademy.com, or once again, go to the website, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, and hit the learn button, and you'll have access right to BEB Academy. Also, don't forget Brand Builder Academy Elite. If you're looking to build a successful e-commerce business, pound for pound, this is the best course on the market. Doesn't matter if it's a physical products business or a digital products business. So this is a 15-week implementation program that takes you from A to Z, from ideation to creation to selling your product on your site and any additional sites that make sense. So you can go to bbaelite.com, or you can go to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, once again, the website, and hit courses, and that course will pop up and you can read more information and watch a short video. Now, in terms of being able to connect with me, social media, once again, is on the website. So go to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. But if there's anything long, hit me on my email, jjones@blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. Facebook, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Twitter, jjones001. Instagram, I got 2 IG accounts. The first one is jjonesforreal, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. The second one is Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. LinkedIn, you can find me there. Just type in J Jones, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Hit me up on LinkedIn. Also, YouTube. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Got amazing things happening in 2022, and we have additional content on YouTube that is not on the show. Also, if you're on Clubhouse, connect with me at I am J Jones. And don't forget to subscribe to my companion podcast, Ask J Live. So every Tuesday, 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, I take live questions from the BEB family, and we're able to chop it up on air. Just go to askjlive.com, or you can go to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com and hit podcast, and you'll see both BEB and also Ask J Live, and you can subscribe there. So really what I'm saying in a nutshell, family, is go to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. I want that to be the resource for black entrepreneurs worldwide. Everything I talk about is on the site. So play around with the site. Start going to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. And if you don't feel like typing out blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, you can just type in bebconnect.com, and it's going to take you right to the website. So I really want to start promoting that And check out the new site. Let me know what you think. All right. So we've been working a long time on it. And in 2022, probably in the next episode or the following episode, we're going to talk about the rebrand and everything and why I did it and why you may want to rebrand too. But let's get ready to close this out real quick. So today we talked about decoding and understanding the 3 phases every business goes through. And those phases are the launch phase, the build phase, and the growth phase. Launch is your startup, build phase is the systemization, and the growth phase is really scaling your business. And so if you're blessed enough, you'll be able to go through all 3 of those phases. And I think the biggest thing is once you get to the build phase, that's your foundational systemization, where you're going to create that foundation and the systems that are going to propel you to the next phase, which is the growth phase. Remember, if you want to get the show notes, make sure you go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, and at the bottom of every page, you'll see join the BEB family, which is basically signing up for the newsletter. Also, I want to remind first-time listeners that Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the podcast, drops every Monday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on all your major podcast platforms and YouTube. Also, Ask Jay Live comes out Tuesday, every Tuesday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. You can have a chance to call in, ask me your questions about your business, my business, or entrepreneurship in general. Now, as we close out this last show of 2021, we're looking for a prosperous and exciting 2022. And I want to thank you guys once again for another tremendous year at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. I say it each and every week, and I mean it. We get more and more downloads and exposure because of you, the BEB family. And I truly appreciate you guys. You know, I always say that it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about building an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. That is the whole intent and the impetus of Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.